Hi, I'm Graham and welcome back to Man vs Film. This is going to be a list of 10 movies that you can watch right now on US Amazon Prime for the month of April 2017. So let's get started with number 10, which is A History of Violence. A mild-mannered man becomes a local hero through an act of violence, which just happens to bring his past back to haunt him. This is probably David Cronenberg's most mainstream movie. That doesn't mean that he loses his kind of traits that he has in the movie. They're still there. You have this emotional content to this story that outbreaks in these moments of real physical affecting violence that come quick and they are bloody and cringe-inducing. You just want to look away when they happen. It's a great story of just your average person who's trying to get away from his past. It just gets drawn back in when he doesn't want to. All he wants to do is live with his family. It's a great tale, well worth your time. Number 9 is Everybody Wants Some. In 1980, a group of college baseball players navigate their way around the freedoms and responsibilities of unsupervised adulthood. Richard Linklater's spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused. Now, when you hear that, it kind of worries you a little bit because Dazed and Confused was such an iconic movie that to even try and equate something close to it is a dangerous ground to be on. But Richard Linklater is a man who seems to know what he's doing and he does it very well. He creates this core group of characters that you want to spend time with. Some you like, some you don't, but that's just life. But you enjoy being around all these guys and seeing their antics and them trying to form their own identities in amongst this movie where there's no real story to it. It's just guys hanging out being what they are, and I love it for that. I think it's hilarious, and every time I watch it I get so much engrossed into these guys' lives. I wish I had more to watch or spend time with these people. Number 8 on my list is Fire and Ice. Evil Lord Necron is a master of ice and he uses that to invade the Fire Keep, which is ruled by King Jared, and when Necron steals his daughter, it's up to a young hero to try and save her. This movie is written and directed by Ralph Bakshi, the man who did Wizards and The Lord of the Rings. And the rotoscoped version of this sword and sorcery movie is very good. It has a couple of sentences title screen at the start to just give you a rough idea of the story, and then boom, it goes straight into the action. There's no preamble. It's fantastic and I love it for that. The rotoscope nature of the movie really gives the characters a lifelike effect, and the way they kind of move about the land discovering things as we discover things. It's a good story. It's not wholly original, it's something we've kind of seen before, but in this aspect of being animated rotoscoped and with this very condensed, very tight action-centric script, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Number 7 on my list is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Aliens who look like clowns arrive in a small town in the USA to take over it and use the humans as their food. There's no two ways about it. This film is absolutely crazy. Whoever came up with this, I think should really get severely tested because I think there may be something wrong with them. It is wacky. A lot of the clowns are done practically, so they still look really freaky and hold up today like they did back in the 80s. It is it is very weird. The way they use the big top as a spaceship, the clowns turning people into giant cotton candy, it's really weird, it's really wacky. It's kind of off-putting, kind of creepy, but kind of silly looking at the same time. I've always enjoyed Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's one of my most fun movies that I stick on whenever I want to have a little bit of something different. And I think you might perhaps like this one. Number 6 is The Ghost in the Darkness. A bridge engineer and an experienced hunter begin a hunt for 2 lions that are taking their toll on the people building the bridges through Africa. The Ghost in the Darkness is based on a true story. This happened in 1898 and it revolves around the city building of a rail track through Africa where these 2 lions hunted and killed a lot of the men building it. In fact, so much so that they were scared to work on it and they had to bring in this sort of hunter to track down these 2 lions, which in history lions have never hunted before in packs, 2 male lions, and these ones did, and it's a terrifically tense story with some really good action scenes. It's never overly gory, but it's a very good adventure movie with some good performances, and even 21 years after it came out, it's still a really good watch. Number 5 on my list is South Park Bigger, Longer and Uncut. When Cartman and his friends go to see an R-rated movie, they begin swearing and their parents jump to the only logical conclusion that because this was a Canadian movie, it's the Canadians' fault. So the US declares war on Canada. South Park made its one and only jump to the big screen with this terrific movie that still holds up today. It is full of hilarious and yet extremely catchy songs. It's great to see these people break free of the sort of 22-minute episodes that we're doing to create this grandiose story, and it works very well. You get all the humorous parts that you're expecting from the characters, you get a grander story, and it's just a hell of a lot of fun, and they get to take it that little bit further than they do in some of the TV shows. Number 4 is a simple plan. When 3 blue-collar acquaintances stumble across millions of dollars in lost cash, they come up with a plan to keep the money from themselves and to keep it away from the authorities. Sam Raimi directs this movie, and he tones down his wild excesses with camera movement and sound and focuses on the true thing at heart here, the story, which is immense amongst these characters. Now, this is a terrific movie. It's an adult thriller set in a small town. It kind of has echoes of Fargo, but it's not really along the same lines as that. It's its own thing, and it's a movie that seems to have been lost in time, which is a real shame because it's a terrific movie with great performances, a really interesting story, and a little sting in its tail as well. Number 3 on my list is Bone Tomahawk. 4 men set out in the Wild West to save a group of townsfolk from a bunch of cave-dwelling cannibals. Now, I've been championing this movie for a couple of years now. I think it's absolutely terrific. I love everything about it. Even Kurt Russell's moustache, which is just outstanding. Now, the 4 men in this are really good, and the fact that they head out into the Wild West isn't a quick journey. It's a slow slog as they try and make their way over the terrain, trying to catch up with these people who've kidnapped the townsfolk or their food supply to the cannibals. And as the movie moves along, you really galvanise these 4 characters together. You get to know each of them. You generally like each of them, and they all need to work together to try and solve this problem. And then when it gets to the end, you get this unexpected bloody finale that just can almost turn your stomach, where it gets really genreified and gets down to the bloody gore that you just were not expecting this thing to have. I love Bone Tomahawk. I think it's a terrific movie. It may have slipped by you in the cinema. It's on Amazon Prime. Check it out. Number 2 is Green Room. A group of punk rockers get stuck in a Nazi compound when they accidentally see something that they were just not supposed to see. This is Jeremy Saulnier's follow-up to Blue Ruin, a terrific movie in its own right, but I think he really stepped up the bar here with this really intense, violent, super atmospheric thriller that kind of borders on horror a little bit. There is some bodily violence in this that is extremely realistic, vicious, fast, brutal, that you just aren't expecting. It's full of terrific performances from Anton Yelchin to Imogen Poots to the best of the movie, Patrick Stewart, as this subdued head of the Nazi party who's extremely smart and just knows exactly what needs to be done and treats it as a business decision. He doesn't get angry or emotional about it. This is just what needs to happen, and that's what's going to happen. This is a terrific movie. At 90 minutes, it zips by. I think it was one of the best I saw last year. It made it onto my top 10 of the year list, and it is terrific. Number 1 on my list for April 2017 is Gleeson, a documentary. After he is diagnosed with ALS, former footballer Steve Gleeson starts making these video diaries for his unborn child. I didn't know anything about this when I put it on to watch it. I didn't know the footballer. I don't really know anything about him. But I liked him as a person. I liked him and I liked his wife. I liked the relationship that they had. They seemed to be 2 people that are made for each other. Even though he was a football player and a fairly big star by all accounts, he didn't seem to have that going to his head. They seemed to be fairly level-headed. And I just was drawn to these people. I liked them a lot. And when you find out that he's got this disease, it's a kind of shock to the system. And then you see how it affects him, how so quickly it affects him and to his wife and the family and friends round about him. It is shocking because you've seen this person that you kind of really like deteriorate so fast that it really makes you realise all about this disease and what it does. This is full of informative information and it is extremely emotional. If you can watch this and get through it without shedding a tear, you're a stronger man than I, because I thought this was incredibly emotional and really affecting. And that's why it's my number 1 for this month. Have I missed anything out? Should there have been something else that I put on my list? Let me know in the comment box below. Even give me a recommendation of something that I can check out, and it may make it onto my list next month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.